Have you ever, like, gotten really excited to learn something new online, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you're really motivated and you're gonna, do all this research, and then
Right.
suddenly you have, like, 10 tabs open and you're
Yeah.
bouncing around between all these different websites and just
You
information overload.
get lost in the weeds.
Yeah, and you're just like, wait a minute, like 3 hours have passed.
Yeah.
What have I actually
What have I learned?
learned? Right.
Exactly.
That's exactly what this deep dive is designed to fix.
This is going to be your super efficient
Yeah.
personal research assistant to help you with this problem.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about how to learn new topics faster and in a more structured way.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be looking at a really interesting YouTube video by Tony Huang
Yeah.
called Learn Anything Faster, Save 80% of Your Time with Gemini Deep Research and Obsidian Guide and Setup.
Yeah, it's a great video.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about how he uses Google Gemini and its deep research feature along with Obsidian and
Cursor.
Cursor, right?
Yeah.
So Tony really hits the nail on the head when he points out, how inefficient a lot of our online learning is.
Yep.
It's like we do all this searching and clicking and reading snippets, but we're not really building a strong foundation for our understanding.
Yeah, you're trying to create a curriculum as you go.
Yeah.
And it just takes forever.
Exactly. It can take days, even weeks.
Totally.
And you're still not even sure if you've got all the key information.
And you're exhausted by that point too, right?
Hey.
You've just been reading so much and it's just not fun.
And it's not fun.
And it's not really that efficient.
Exactly.
So what Tony introduces is this idea of using Google Gemini's deep research.
Right.
Which is this really cool AI feature that basically aims to do that heavy lifting for you.
Yeah.
All that initial searching and sifting through information that can take so much time.
Mm-hmm.
Gemini kind of takes that on and does it in a matter of minutes.
It's pretty amazing. So it's not just your typical search engine.
Yeah.
It's not even like some of the other AI search tools that are out there, like Perplexity.
This
is something different. This is a true AI agent.
Right.
And it's going to, like you said, it's going to create a research plan
Yep.
and execute that plan for you.
Yeah.
So Tony uses a really great example in the video. He talks about wanting to learn everything about the Starship of SpaceX.
Mm-hmm.
So picture, you're interested in Starship. You want to learn everything about it.
Yep.
So you type that into Gemini.
Right.
And what does it do?
Well, instead of just giving you back a ton of search results, which might be overwhelming,
Right.
it actually creates a research plan first.
Yeah.
So it's going to say, okay, you want to learn everything about the Starship of SpaceX.
Yeah.
Here are the things I think you should probably investigate.
Yeah.
So, some of the things it suggests are like, okay, what are the goals of the Starship projects?
Mm-hmm.
Where are they at in terms of its current status?
Right.
What are some of the recent developments?
Right.
Like, major test flights that have happened recently. Technical specifications of the Starship. What kind of technology is it using? What are the different parts?
Right.
What are the various potential applications?
Yeah.
Is it just for going to Mars, or are there other things that they could use it for?
Right.
What are the environmental impacts of this thing? Launching this giant rocket into space.
Right.
And then even things like, what are the challenges and risks associated with the project?
Yeah, that's a good point.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Which is something you always want to think about.
Exactly.
So it gives you this really nice structured research plan.
And here's the cool part.
Yeah.
You're not stuck with that initial plan.
Right.
You can actually go and review it and edit it.
Yeah.
So Tony shows how he adds in a specific area that he wants Gemini to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
He adds Elon Musk's vision for Starship, which is a big part of it.
Of course. Yeah, it's got to be in there.
So it's really cool that it's a collaborative process right from the start.
Yeah, you're not just passively receiving information.
Right.
You're actually guiding the AI's focus.
Exactly.
You're saying, okay, this is what I'm interested in. This is what I want to learn about.
Yeah.
And then once you're happy with that plan, you set Gemini loose.
Right.
You say, okay, go do your thing.
Go do your research.
And it goes out and starts reading a ton of articles.
Yeah, it does all the hard work for us.
Like the video mentions, it could be reading upwards of like 49 or 60 or even more documents.
That's crazy.
Yeah, think about how long it would take you to do that.
Oh my gosh.
To go through and read that many articles and try to synthesize all that information.
It would take forever.
Yeah, weeks probably.
Yeah.
And it does it in like minutes.
It's a massive time saver.
Yeah.
And the coolest part is it doesn't just give you back this like raw data dump.
No, it's structured.
It's structured. It's organized.
Like an actual report.
Yeah.
And Tony actually shows in the video another really interesting use case for Gemini where he uses the prompt, what is large language model? And how can I use large language model? Be AI explication. Would you please create a learning roadmap for me?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty complicated prompt.
Yeah.
But
he wants a learning roadmap.
Exactly.
For large language models.
And Gemini not only generates like a research report, but it also designs a structured learning path for him.
Yes.
Which is so cool.
Like an actual learning roadmap, broken down into sections with key concepts you need to learn, and then links to articles and YouTube videos that you can check out to learn more about those concepts.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And he gives the example of the section called Introduction to Large Language Models, and how you can click on links to different articles and YouTube videos right within the report.
Yeah, he actually clicks on a YouTube video in his example to show how seamless it is. It's so cool. So whether you're someone who likes to, read in-depth articles or watch visual explanations, the resources are right there for you.
Exactly. It caters to your learning style.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So let's go back to that Starship report for a second.
Okay.
Because it really highlights the depth of what Gemini can do.
Yeah.
So the title of the report is SpaceX Starship Reaching for the Stars and Mars with Elon Musk's Vision.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a pretty epic title.
Yeah, it's very grand.
Yeah, it's very grand. It kind of gives you a sense of the scope of the project.
Right.
And then the report is really nicely broken down into sections.
Okay.
So you have a section on Starship development and test flights, which talks about specific flights like flights 5, 6, and 7.
Right.
And even planned future missions like the orbit refueling demonstration and the uncrewed lunar demo.
Very ambitious.
Yeah, super ambitious.
They want to go to the moon and refuel in orbit.
It's crazy.
Which is wild.
Yeah. And then it gets into the technical details, right?
Yeah.
So it talks about the specs of Starship, the internal designs.
Like, what's it like inside?
Yeah.
What's the layout?
How does it all work?
Yeah.
The structure, the key features.
It's sticky stuff.
Well, the geeky stuff. Right?
Yeah.
But here's what's really important.
Right.
Where is all this information coming from?
Yeah.
Right?
Where's it getting its sources?
This isn't just AI making stuff up.
No.
This is coming from credible sources.
Yes.
So, it uses Wikipedia for foundational knowledge.
Okay.
The official Starship website for, really authoritative details. Even Reddit for, community discussions and insights.
Right.
YouTube videos for visual demonstrations.
Right.
And official NASA reports for the, the rigorous analysis.
Yeah, for the hardcore stuff.
Yeah, for the hardcore stuff.
Wow, so it's really pulling from a variety of sources to get a really comprehensive view.
Yeah.
And it's not just text-based stuff either.
Right.
It's incorporating different media, like videos and images and stuff.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, it's a really multimedia approach.
And it's all in one place, which is so convenient.
Super convenient.
And for those who like to stay organized, especially if you're using a tool like Obsidian, you can export this entire report in several different formats.
Oh, cool.
Including Markdown, which is...
So that's important because Markdown is the native format for Obsidian.
Exactly.
So you can just seamlessly transfer that report into Obsidian without having to convert it or anything.
It's so smooth.
That's super cool.
So we've established this incredibly efficient way to gather well-researched information using Gemini.
Right.
But the video doesn't stop there.
Right.
It takes it a step further.
Okay.
And shows you how to actually internalize this knowledge and build a lasting understanding using Obsidian.
Yeah.
So this is where the idea of a knowledge graph comes in.
Okay.
So Obsidian allows you to create these interconnected notes, right?
And each note is focused on a specific idea or concept.
Yeah, like little atomic units of knowledge.
Exactly.
Like each note is about one specific thing.
And over time, as you create more and more of these notes and link them together...
You start to build this web of knowledge.
Exactly. You build a personalized network of knowledge.
Which is super cool.
Yeah, and the video actually references this book called How to Take Smart Notes, which advocates for this interconnected approach to note-taking.
Yeah, it's a great book.
But the problem is manually creating and linking all these notes can be really time-consuming.
It can be.
And that's where AI comes in.
Oh.
Specifically a tool called Cursor, which operates on your Obsidian files.
Cool.
So Cursor can help you automate some of that note-taking labor.
So you can focus on actually learning the material.
Exactly.
Instead of spending all your time creating notes.
And the video outlines a two-stage process for doing this.
Okay.
So the first stage is generating what are called index notes. Index notes.
Okay.
What are those?
So basically, you use a prompt within Cursor, leveraging a language model like Cloud Sonnet 3.5.
Okay.
And the AI analyzes that learning roadmap that Gemini created for you.
Yeah.
And it generates a list of individual markdown files, which are essentially your potential notes.
Okay.
One for each topic identified in the roadmap.
So one note per topic.
Exactly.
Got it.
And these index notes aren't just blank pages. They each include a brief introduction to the concept and a list of the core knowledge points related to that topic.
Wow.
And the titles of these knowledge points are formatted in double square brackets.
Oh, okay, I see.
Which is important.
Yeah, that's how Obsidian knows to create links.
Exactly.
Between the notes.
Tony gives examples of notes being created for like the ethical part and the introduction part of a topic.
Okay, so it's breaking down the topic into its component parts.
Exactly.
And then creating notes for each of those parts.
Yep. And then the second stage of this process is where we build on that foundation.
Okay.
So we use another prompt in Cursor to automatically create backlinks from these newly generated index notes back to the main learning roadmap file in Obsidian.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
So you can easily jump back and forth.
Exactly.
Between the roadmap and the individual notes.
And these backlinks are placed under each corresponding topic in the roadmap.
Okay.
Again, using double square brackets to reference the file names.
Gotcha.
So you run the prompt in Cursor.
Yeah.
Confirm the changes. And suddenly, your learning roadmap in Obsidian isn't just a static document. It's transformed into this central hub with direct links to all these new index notes.
I like it.
Yeah, it's like this web of connections.
It's like a spider web.
Yeah.
With the roadmap in the center.
Exactly.
And all the nodes radiating out from it.
And then if you look at the graph view in Obsidian, which is this visual representation of your notes, you can actually see all these connections.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
So you can actually see the structure of your understanding.
And as it develops.
That's amazing.
So just to summarize, we start by using Google Gemini's deep research to quickly generate a really comprehensive and well-referenced learning roadmap.
Yep.
And then we use Cursor AI within Obsidian to automatically create interconnected notes based on that roadmap.
Cool.
And that gives us a huge head start in building our personal knowledge graph.
Awesome.
And the core benefit here is that with this clear learning path and this network of interconnected notes,
it just makes learning so much easier.
Exactly. Grasping any new concept within that subject becomes so much faster and more organized.
Yeah, you're not just passively consuming information. You're actively constructing a framework of understanding.
That's the key. You're not just reading stuff. You're actually building something.
You're building your own knowledge base.
Exactly. It's so cool. So I think this deep dive has really shown us a potentially revolutionary way to approach learning.
It really has.
This combination of AI-powered research with personal knowledge management tools.
That's like the future of learning.
It could totally transform how we acquire and retain information.
Absolutely.
So it makes me wonder, how could this method of AI-assisted research and knowledge mapping change the way that you approach learning new subjects or preparing for like really complex areas?
Yeah. Could you see yourself using these tools to not just gather information, but to actually understand it better? And remember it more effectively.
And build that like foundation of knowledge.
Like a solid base.
Yeah. It's a really powerful thing to think about.
It is.
So we highly encourage you to check out these tools. Google Gemini.
Obsidian,
and in Cursor.
Yeah.
And see how they can help you personalize and accelerate your own learning journey.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, this was a fun one.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Me too.
Thanks for listening.